Hello, creatives. Thank you for dropping by. Before we get started, please hit that like, subscribe, and don't forget to share with people who you think might get something out of these short thoughts. Okay, so today, first of all, welcome. Let's discuss something that seems really, really simple, but has a profound effect on your life and the goals or the things that you want to achieve. It's very simple. It sounds really simple, but it's really, really powerful. It's a simple formula. It's called be, do, and have. So I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to give you examples so you can kind of understand, because if we just discuss the process, it's hard to grasp sometimes. But let's discuss some examples. Let's say you want to be physically fit. Most of us do. I mean, it's not just for the aesthetics, but just healthy. You want to be healthy. I want to be healthy. So that's the be part, right? So in order to be healthy, I have to start doing the things that would get me healthy. Right. Getting enough sleep, exercising, taking walks, maybe going to the gym. That's the doing part. What happens after that? I end up having, and this is the part that most of us don't want to accept, or it's hard to accept. I end up having a healthy body, or I end up being healthy. Excuse me. The time lag between the do and the have is usually what dissuades people, because it doesn't happen instantly. So I want to be healthy. I do the things that healthy people do, which is I eat right, I sleep enough hours, I exercise, and I take care of myself, and then I'll have a healthy body. It doesn't happen from one day to the next. So if I don't see something happening from one day to the next, I kind of give up. I get disillusioned. Like, yes, I don't want to do this anymore. It's taking too much work. It's done. But you got to do all three. In other words, you got to do the first two. You got to be the person who trains. I want to be this. In order to be that, you have to do what that person would do. And in order to get what you want, to have it, you got to do the do part. It's hard sometimes, most of the time, because change is difficult, right? But that's the sequence: be, do, and have. You want to be this person, you do what that kind of person does, and you'll have what that kind of person has. You can't really switch up the order. It's the way it works. I want to be this way. I have to do what that person will do, and I'll have what that person has. I'll give you another example. And this is a little bit more concrete than just being physically healthy. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a writer, but I wanted to be a writer. This is now going back to college. Well, most of my life I wanted to be a writer, and most of my life I wrote. But I really wanted to be a writer. In order to be a writer, what would I have to do? I have to write. I sit somewhere, put pen to paper, or get typing and put the words into an organized form that would create something that could be read. It also means that in order to be a writer, I would have to do what a writer does, which is study the craft, like read books, go to conferences, meet with teachers, mentors, people who knew about writing, who could share their knowledge and share with me so that I could absorb it and apply it to my own writing. What would I have at the end of that is a book. It's not fame, it's not money, it's a book. You would have, so if you want to be a writer, you do what a writer does, which is write, and then you would have what a writer has, which is a written body of work. And so this applies to everything in your life. In other words, anything that you want to have has to go through the be and do part first, most of the time, unless things are given to you. But if you want to have something, an end result, a product, a goal, anything, you have to go through the be and the do part, and then you'll get to the have part. You can focus on the have part and say, this is what I want. I want to get there. I want to be a writer. And that's great. But you still have to be a person who wants to be a writer. And in order to do that, you have to do what a writer does, which is study, learn about writing, and actually, at the end of the day, write. You have to write. And then you will have what a writer has, which is written works put together in a cohesive form that forms a book or a short story or a poem, magazine articles, whatever the case may be. But you'll have that at the end of the day, or in terms of that's figurative, at the end of that process, you'll have what a writer has. But you have to be and do. So it's simple. Be, do, and have, and you can apply it to anything in life. You really can. But I didn't say it was easy. And there is a time lag between the being and the having that you have to be okay with, that you have to accept, that you have to kind of consider it as part of the whole process. It doesn't happen overnight, usually. It takes time. And you've got to be willing to have patient perseverance. That's probably going to be another video, patient perseverance, because that's a tough subject for us to grasp and to kind of get our heads wrapped around. But be, do, have. I want you to take that on and start applying it to your life. And above all, be uncommon. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.